lots of vegetables, wheat germ, granola, low processed,
That all sounds
high
great.
fiber.
Yeah, it's good for you. In other words, eating well and good for you.
Will keep me is fine. My wife is so funny because she can eat like all sorts of like junk food that I like. Ooh, like I want to try it. I'll eat it. And I'm like, shouldn't have eaten it. It's just like I am the worst. I'm the worst. I would be the worst spokesperson for any fast food chain. Like I can't eat anything I'm telling you to buy.
I mean, it's better than being like, I eat it all the time and I have
Yeah, exactly.
Your body's like, you know what?
Yeah.
We want you to be healthy.
Roger, stop arguing with your body.
Yeah.
It knows better or something.
Okay. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready too. Here we go. Daily Tech News Show is powered by you. Look at the mirror, and that's who powers this show. To find out more, head to dailytechnewsshow.com/support. This is the Daily Tech News for Wednesday, January 17th, 2018. From DTNS headquarters in Los Angeles, I'm Tom Merritt.
And from Studio Feline at the beach, I'm Sarah Lane.
And from the new domain of Deckard the Cat, I'm Scott Johnson.
Whoa. You went cat? I thought you were on my dog side of things.
Well, dog's still here, but daughter wanted to save this poor little kitty.
Oh, okay.
So it's all on her, but he's real cute. We named him Deckard. You can say Rick Deckard or Deckard Kane. It doesn't matter to me.
Mm-hmm.
His middle name is Breadward. Last name is Johnson, and he's a fantastic little turd of a cat, and we love him. So
does he tend to retire skin jobs or tell you tales?
He asked me to sit a while and listen, but my daughter was told that there are 3 additional skin jobs in the garage. We need to do something.
So he's both. Happily named cat.
Playing both sides of the coin.
Yeah. A man who is not allergic to cats, Roger Chang, is our producer.
I am incredibly allergic to cats.
I'm sorry, a man who is incredibly allergic to cats, our producer, Roger Chang.
We regret the error.
Hence his remote location. Let's start with a few tech things you should know.
Android Police notes that Google posted to the Google Home Device Support section acknowledging that Wi-Fi problem caused by Android devices and Cast devices on the same Wi-Fi network. A fix should arrive Thursday, January 18th in a Google Play Services update.
Oh, very nice. Google announced also AutoML Vision, a new service in alpha that helps developers build custom image recognition models, even without machine learning expertise. For now, the service only supports computer vision models, but Google plans to expand the brand to other areas, such as think-speech translation, video, and natural language recognition.
Indian messaging app Hike has struck a deal with OEMs Intex and Carbon, as well as carriers Airtel, Aircel, and BSNL, to make Hike the default text and voice messaging app on Android phones using Total by Hike. Total by Hike is not an Indian version of a high-brand cereal. It's a new service that uses the Unstructured Supplementary Service Data, or USSD, to deliver messaging, news, and Hike wallet access, among other things, without you needing to pay for a data connection. Devices launch March 1st. Now to Scott with sports.
The sports section of the show that you always have every week. This is more esportsy, but the Overwatch League, which just concluded its first week of stuff, attracted 10 million viewers in its first week, which is pretty crazy, and averaged 280,000 viewers per minute. Day one alone drew an average audience of 408,000 viewers per minute, numbers that seem in line with the expectations after the 12th hour, $90 million contract Blizzard signed with Twitch. Very last minute. Nobody's sure why that was so last minute. Some assume negotiations. Some think maybe Blizzard was going to do their own thing, but they ended up settling. I shouldn't say settling. They ended up going with Twitch, which I think was the right idea. Blizzard notes that these figures don't account for multiple Overwatch tuning via the same browser and or device, and that tickets for those watching in LA in their Blizzard Arena in person sold out throughout the full 7 days. So that place was packed full the entire time.
I believe that's in Burbank, to be more precise, not just the LA area. Yeah.
That is correct, actually. Misreported by PC Gamer. It is in Burbank, and in fact, it was the former Johnny Carson, Jay Leno studio for the The Tonight Show for all those years.
No kidding. I didn't realize that.
So they bought that thing out. I don't know from whom. I assume from NBC or whoever owned it at the time, and have been renovating it, working on it. Things have been ready pretty much since right around before BlizzCon. They had some finals there for some other stuff, but they weren't quite ready to show us what they had. But I will tell you what, guys, I watched most of the games, and despite my team I was backing not placing very well, by the way, congratulations, LA. Your team's killing it.
Yeah. Just so you know, we have 2 teams in LA. I have decided to become a Valiant supporter because they're 2-0.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
They're really doing well.
Just
I'm
a
sorry
bandwagon.
to say, Sarah, that the San Francisco Shock is in 7th place, which is, whatever, 1-1. It's not too bad.
We're used to that up there in the Bay Area.
My team were the Houston Outlaws. I mainly like their color scheme, so it's a little bit weird why I like them. But anyway, LA's in the top spot. I watched this thing, and I have got to say I have never seen better production value for an esports event than this. And there's been a lot of esports over the years, and it's been building and building and getting better and better. But this was a cut above. It is clear they spent some serious money on that place. And the screen stuff with the seamless sort of wall-to-wall ceiling screen stuff they're doing is breathtaking and alone worth watching, I think. And one other little tidbit I'd throw at the bottom of this. One of the nights where there was a bunch of games going on, I had a bunch of stuff going on, so I couldn't watch it live. So we turned the VODs on. I actually airplayed it from my phone to my TV and had a whole bunch of people here for a birthday party for a friend. Non-gamers, non-esports enthusiasts gathered around in a living room watching this stuff play out. And
do you have the volume up so they could hear commentary?
Very loud.
There you go.
Commentary. In fact, that's one thing they kept mentioning is like, oh, this is like football. These guys, their commentary. Here's your color guy. Here's your play-by-play guy or whatever. And I think they went away fans. I'm pretty sure we maybe helped give birth to an additional 12 esports fans in one night who otherwise had no interest in this or really didn't know what it was about. And it was super, super impressive. So full disclosure, I'm a huge Blizzard fanboy, but I think they really nailed it here. There was a lot of trepidation about how well this would come off, and I think it went real well.
Quick question. I mean, 10 million viewers in a first week, super impressive. Do we know how many seats are in the actual former Tonight Show auditorium?
More than it was when it was for the Tonight Show. So the way they've laid it out, and that's the problem. I don't know the exact number, but the way they laid it out, the old studio was this way. Johnny would come out or Jay would come out and they'd do their monologue. And the first people you would see were non-production people that were audience members, and they were immediately on the risers and then growing to the back of the stadium. This is different where they have all of that, but then right below that, where it used to be a lot more production staff for the Tonight Show, is now additional seating. So it's more than whatever it is for a Tonight Show viewing, but it's not like, this isn't some mega football stadium.
I get the idea that the crowd is there to look good on the stream, and where the audience is watching. The in-person attendance is not that important for them.
No, and also the goal with this isn't so much to say, hey, look at our giant facility. It is to say, we want esports to have a proper venue for everything it does coming from our company. So we are going to buy, control, and have this place. So HGC will happen there. That's the Heroes Championship games for Heroes of the Storm. The Hearthstone finals will all be held there, and the lead-up games. Like, this is going to be their stadium. And then where the real eyeballs come from are certainly, from streams and online and stuff. So it's very interesting to watch because they're making a giant gamble with this. These teams were very expensive for their owners. This $90 million contract is the biggest contract anyone's done with Twitch for exclusivity. So a lot riding on it. So far, so good. We'll have to see how it goes long term.
Well, speaking of video, YouTube will start manually reviewing all videos in its Google Preferred Premium advertising program so that advertisers have a little bit more faith that their messages won't show up in disturbing or inappropriate videos. We've seen some of that as of late. New creators applying to the YouTube Partner Program also need to have amassed 4,000 hours of video watch time within the past 12 months and also have 1,000 subscribers to be eligible to earn advertising revenue from their channels. It's funny, I first got notice of this from the Laughing Squid Twitter account last night. Scott Beal, who runs Laughing Squid and has for, 20 years or however long the internet started, was like, I haven't really put a lot of effort into YouTube, but I get a little residual money. And like, I don't actually meet these requirements anymore. This sucks for me.
Yeah.
But I understand why YouTube is doing this.
I first became aware of it when I got an email from YouTube last night telling me they're demonetizing my channel on February 20th. Because I'm kind of in the same position as Scott Beal. I've got 16,000 subscribers. I'm well beyond the 1,000 limit. So when they changed the subscriber level for monetization, that didn't affect me. And I'm like, you know what? At a certain point, you're only making like $10 a year if you have less than 1,000 subscribers, because you just really can't build up the amount. That makes sense. This also makes sense. You're only making about $100 a year at 4,000 hours of video. So it's not going to break anyone. But as someone who's like, I inconsistently run my channel, I've only got 2,000 hours of view time on my personal channel. And I will say, and this is very personal, I'm not saying this applies to everybody, it has disincentivized me to do things on that channel. Because I've started to kick around ideas like, oh, what if I did this? I'm like, well, if it caught on, I'd make money. Now it's like, well, if it caught on, it might get me to 4,000 hours. But even then, all of the catching on part wouldn't even be monetized. So maybe I'll take it to Twitch instead and do something there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is an adjustment to probably solve a lot of problems. One of them is that, YouTube's primary customer, its advertisers, and its creators are not necessarily their customers. They are the product of the service. This came up a bit in our morning show this morning. And I can see why, like Sarah, I see why YouTube is doing this. I'm a little bummed out for small creators that were looking for a boost, or we're putting the work in, and now they're going to have to put in all this additional unpaid work to get there. It is a platform. Maybe don't put all your eggs in this one basket anyway, regardless, and still work towards something that maybe works for people. But I it's weird. I share the disappointment with the small guy. But I completely kind of understand where Google is.
Well, and also it's like, there's the idea of posting good content and enjoying it, and posting good content that has like lots of engagement. I mean, there are lots of tactics. Not everybody uses them, but there are lots of tactics to sort of like game the system a little bit. So in a way, I think a lot of folks who are doing good stuff and maybe just weren't looking for like the most views ever, but now are sort of delisted.
I think it's
that it's like they're.
First of all, I'm not mad at YouTube about it. I'm just going to make a logical decision of like, oh, well, I guess I won't be sinking too much effort there. If I get something that I think can go to 4,000 videos easily, then I'll probably put it there. Like, it's not a moral thing. I don't get into this thing of like, oh, screw them now. I'm going to do everything to hate them. That's not how I roll. But I am not going to use them for things that I would have used them before. Whether that impacts them or not, I don't know. Probably not. They're looking at these big numbers and saying, well, we now have to have humans review advertising because advertisers are starting to pull their ads. So in order to make that worthwhile, to make that not be unwieldy, we have to limit the number of advertiser or the number of videos that we can review. And so it makes perfect sense. I get the calculus from their side of it as well. It's just unfortunate for folks like us. The one thing that they may be underestimating, and this is very typical of Google in general, is they have now spread out bad feelings to a large number of people. Whether that comes back to bite them or not, I don't know. But I don't have a good feeling about it. I'm not angry, but I'm just like, yeah, well, I guess I won't use them.
And also, it's just a reminder they're moving the goalposts all the time, and I think in a way it's good because it reminds people that this platform is there for you until it isn't, and so you got to do your best that you can on it if that's where you're trying to spend your time. But like some YouTubers have found out recently, and others have found out in other ways, this may not be the place you want to have, your whole party. So
well, and that's fine. YouTube has to do what's right for YouTube, which means that other people will have to do what's right for them. Because here I am on Daily Tech News Show, which does have a channel that qualifies for monetization and will not be stripped. Daily Tech News Show is going to keep making these videos. I'm not going to, go off in a huff because my other channel got demonetized. You just have to make whatever the sensible decision is for you. Facebook began testing Watch Party with a handful of groups. Facebook would like to have all of those people who are not going to be making money on YouTube, but they're not necessarily going to share that money with you either. Watch Party is a feature that lets members of Facebook groups watch any public Facebook video together and comment and interact. Group moderators can select one or more videos, so you can queue them up to post inside the group as part of a watch party. You can only do one watch party at a time. You can't schedule them days in advance. Viewers see a watch party widget show up in the group page, and then comments either appear overlaid if you're on the mobile version of the app or in a rail on the right side if you're on the desktop version. So once more, will this be the time where somebody cracks the group watching on the internet dream that so many, including Xbox, have tried before?
Well, and also, like, it just sort of speaks to the whole Facebook saying, yeah, videos, we're not sure that this is really the right engagement for your news feed that you're sharing with all the, special relationships and friends that you actually have. So we're going to sort of rebuild it into a place that we think might make more sense. I would love this to work. I love the idea of watching something concurrently with friends and seeing, real-time comments and all of that stuff. But yes, Tom, to your point, apps have tried this in the past, more than a few that I can remember, and it never really caught on. And I'm not totally sure why. Live video that's on network television, let's say, appointment viewing, like a Super Bowl, the Oscars, whatever, like, that does great on Twitter. That's one of my favorite things to do, but that's not exactly what Twitter is built for. So for Facebook to try to bring this to the platform within groups is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it already happens in, YouTube. So if there's some sort of speech being given, people can go in there. Suddenly the comments are crazy. It's this live event and everybody's super into it. And that may be a piece of this, that the stuff we're talking about isn't necessarily live. They're just public videos. Maybe that'll come later. Maybe that's part of this package. But my point is, I think it's hard to get people on a schedule unless it's a big deal. Like, for example, if it's just to watch 8 cat videos that the group thought people might like, I don't know. Like, that seems a little bit weird. Here's a case where it might work, because what does Facebook have to lose? They're not banking on any kind of giant revenue uptick from this. It's just a new feature. And maybe that feature, if popular, does roll into premium.
Oh, well, they expect a revenue uptick from video views. That's what they're hoping.
Exactly. So, but I guess that's more utilitarian than, say, if Netflix came out and said, we're going to make it possible for all of you to watch reruns of whatever show you love the most. We're going to have a friends watching party for the month of whatever, and we're going to have this giant chat room. Or you could make small chat rooms with just your friends. Like, if they did that, first of all, I'd be shocked. But if they did do that, I think that it's hard to get people as excited about that than if it was like a big announcement or a live event like these Overwatch games I was talking about.
Well, Poodle Puncher in our chat room's pointing out there's the Diamond Club movie party. And that's something where, to me, it's an example of what you're talking about. A group of people who want to do something are getting together and finding tools to do it. What Facebook's trying to do is say, hey, we want you to do something. Here's a tool. Use it. And maybe if you have a Facebook group that is at the point where they would want to do this naturally themselves, like, oh my gosh, we've been talking about getting together and having something like a Diamond Club movie party on this Facebook group, then great. But I don't know that there's enough of those situations to make this work for them.
I feel like this is more Facebook saying, let's try to get people into groups more. That the whole watching a movie or a TV show together, like, that's fine, but it's not going to work for everybody, and it's a niche product. But the groups idea of, especially Facebook saying some of the stuff that's on the newsfeed is just not working for the sort of general Facebook experience. But if you were part of 10 groups that you were really into and they were really engaging, then it's better. It works better for Facebook.
This is true.
Speaking of working better, the Taipei Times reports that Inventec shipped more than 1 million HomePods to Apple earlier this month. The elusive HomePod, spurring talk that the smart speaker may finally arrive for customers in as little as 4 to 6 weeks. Now, this could give more context to why Apple's also expanding a new Siri feature to play podcasts when you ask Siri to give me the news. I guess that's sort of a declaration rather than a question. Users in Australia and the UK have joined the US in a beta feature that lets Siri play content from NPR in the US and the BBC in the UK. Now, if you want a different source and you say, well, I don't want NPR to give me my news, that's okay. You can change your default. For example, in the US, you could change it to Fox News or CNN or the Washington Post.
I'm very interested in this device just because Apple coming in, kind of late to the party here. has been a concern for me. Their kind of closed off ecosystem is a bit of a turnoff. However, I'm in the ecosystem in a lot of ways. I have an Apple Music account as an example, and I would like to take better advantage of that. So what I really want from this is the stage promise that we seem to be getting from Tim Cook and others at the time of the announcement, that this was more focused on great audio, like really good sound, and a step above the competition in that regard. Because I fully expect the Siri integration to be good enough, and it'll be fine, and it'll tell me the things I generally get from my Echo, and people get from their Google Homes. But to really set this apart, it's going to be about form. It's going to be about how well that thing sounds. Like, I really do want to see it in the public and see how it goes. And I'm glad to hear we're going to finally see these soon.
I'm always disheartened when there's a lock-in, right? When it's like, hey, we've decided these are the best news sources for you, and so you can pick from them. You have choice. And it's like, geez, what if somebody wants to have DTNS? Thankfully, Amazon Echo moved on from just being NPR or the BBC at launch to allowing any skill to be a flash briefing, which is how we got Daily Tech Headlines on there. I'm wondering and hoping that Apple could do the same, especially since they have the biggest podcast marketplace on the planet. That they could take advantage of that. Of course, this thing isn't even out yet. It looks like we're finally going to get it. There's finally shipping versions, so that's exciting for people at CES who were like, why isn't Apple in this conversation? It's all Google Assistant versus Amazon Voice Services. Looks like at least by the end of March, we'll be able to at least decide whether Apple's worth having in that conversation.
Yeah.
I think I would be more impressed with the idea of telling Siri to play me the news if it were more of like an RSS aggregate feed of lots of news sources, which is what I think is a better way to get the news anyway. But yeah, sure. If you like a certain podcast a lot, then it would be convenient, but your options are limited.
Well, the Echo, I don't have a Google Home, so I can't speak to that. But the way the Echo works with my daily briefing is I have basically applied what I want to it. So I've created a collection of things that I want to be briefed on, one of which is DTNS headlines. One of them is my Video Games Daily show. And then I have some other stuff that I'm interested in, but I put those up to sort of test those and whatever. And it's great. I really do like that. But it doesn't really work well for longer form content. Then again, I can just ask my Echo to play the morning stream and it will find it via TuneIn Radio or something. Sometimes it won't find a show I want, though. So there's a lot of scattershot going on there. Apple has an opportunity here, just from a podcast perspective. And like Tom said, they've got this huge directory. So many, if you're making a podcast, you have your podcast listed on iTunes, whether you use Apple stuff or not, whether you care or not, you do that because that's what you do. So they have all this stuff that they could tap into very quickly and very easily. I'm hoping, maybe against hope, that they really jump on that, because that's the kind of integration I want from what I like to listen to. And I want to be able to group stuff together the way you're saying, Sarah. Like, there's real possibilities here for that content. And I'm not so sure they're focused on that. So I guess we'll have to wait until it's out.
Yep.
Here's some news. Podcast network This Week in Tech, a.k.a. TWiT, is suing Twitter. TWiT alleges Twitter breached a written contract, oral agreement, intentional interference with prospective economic advantage, and trademark infringement. A lot of legal stuff there. In May of last year, Twitter announced original premium video content that would come to its platform, and TWiT's attorneys demanded that Twitter stop expanding the use of Twitter's trademark. TWiT is seeking relief, including a preliminary and permanent injunction that orders Twitter to stop using the mark in connection with the distribution of audio and video content, and to quote, any and all profits derived from the unlawful acts, unquote.
Yeah, there's a lot of FUD going on around this. It's actually a smaller story in most of the tech world than it is for a lot of our viewers, because Sarah and I used to work there. But what's going on is not that TWiT doesn't want Twitter to have video. Obviously, they've had Periscope for a long time. You've been able to upload video for a long time. It's the idea that Twitter announced back in May, if you remember, original video, that Twitter is funding video, creating video under the Twitter name. That's different than the NFL stream. The NFL stream was Twitter is letting NFL, I mean, really the NFL's letting Twitter, but stream the NFL branded CBS broadcast on Twitter. That's not something Twitter created. They're a platform. They're licensing it, right? What TWiT seems to be, from my reading of this, and I have no inside information on it, objecting to is, hey, we were fine with this. We had an agreement with Ev. It was all good until you started making videos. And once you started making videos yourself, then that could cause confusion. And granted, none of you would ever confuse the two. I get that. We're smarter than that. But having worked there, I can say people did occasionally confuse them. Didn't make sense sometimes why they would in the way that they did, but they did. And so what they're going to try to show in court is there is confusion. We had an agreement and we need to settle this. And it sounds like they tried to settle it going back all the way to May, and they just couldn't get it worked out. So they finally resorted to going to court.
Well, it'll be interesting. I mean, I don't know what kind of precedence it sets for the rest of the small business things, or if at the end of all this, somebody say like Twitter could go after Twitch because the name's similar or whatever.
No, I mean, again, if Twitch starts making its own original shows, right, and Amazon has to be very careful there, then yeah, maybe that could happen. But that's not what's going on here from what I can tell.
Sure.
Reports have been going around that a pair of teams from Microsoft and Alibaba created an AI that outperformed humans on a reading comprehension test. This is true. It is not, however, true that the AI can read better than humans. Here's why. The AI was using something called the Stanford Question Answering Dataset, which is called SQUAD for short, Stanford Question, get it, SQUAD. It consists of more than 100,000 pairs of questions and answers based on 536 paragraph-length Wikipedia excerpts. Now, humans score about 82.3% on this test in the study. Alibaba's AI scored 82.4%, so they just barely edged out the humans. And Microsoft's AI scored 82.6%, so they even did a little better, but not by a lot. And the test involves a lot of pattern matching. It is an AI achievement that, for example, an AI can understand that whose authority did Luther's theology oppose could be answered by his theology challenged the authority and office of the Pope. But that's because the paragraph says his theology challenged the authority and office of the Pope. It's doing a bit of smart pattern matching going, okay, I understand that this sentence is asking for what did this subject do with this verb, and this other sentence seems to answer that. The AI doesn't show the ability to actually comprehend. So the meaning of comprehension here is a little very basic. Like, it can comprehend how to give you an answer. You can't say, well, why did Martin Luther do this? The AI is not going to be able to answer that. Probably a lot of the humans wouldn't be able to answer that either, but you'd get more humans able to answer why did Martin Luther do this than you would the AI giving you a satisfying response on that.
Yeah. Well done, Microsoft, with your 0.3 score better than humans. I'm very impressed. Very nice. Alibaba crap together.
Well, and again, this is one of those things where it's good that the AI can do this. This is going to be good for search results. It could do legal proceeding readings. It can be very helpful. It doesn't mean more than that. It doesn't mean that, oh, computers can read now and totally understand, and we can have a conversation about Madame Bovary now because it totally can understand a book, and AI is going to be coming to book club soon. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's not to say that we couldn't develop to a point where some of this is easier. Like, that comprehension is only going to get better as machine learning gets better and the technology around it gets better. But I don't think people with a good historical knowledge need to worry about their jobs at the moment. I think there's not enough.
Unless you work for Cliff Notes.
Yeah, no, actually, that's a really good point. That's the kind of thing that this might be good at creating.
Like, crap, the robots can do it now.
Poor Cliff. See ya. To get all the tech headlines each day in about 5 minutes, folks, you can subscribe to Daily Tech Headlines, as I mentioned earlier. You can get it on the Amazon Echo, on the Google Home, on the Anchor app, and also as a good old-fashioned podcast at dailytechheadlines.com. All right, let's check the mailbag, Sarah.
Well, we were talking about smart speakers earlier, and so thought I might throw in this note from Andy, who says, how do I listen to Daily Tech Headlines on the Google Home? It doesn't work for me. Maybe there's a special way I'm supposed to ask. I'm not doing it. If I say, listen to Daily Tech Headlines, the response is, I'm sorry, I can't play news from Daily Tech Headlines yet. I've tried phrasing the question differently, but same result. Please help me.
He's in Australia. So my guess is it's a region locked thing. And it might be something we could do about. I'll look again. The last time I looked, we were marked for worldwide distribution. And with the Amazon Echo, we had the same thing, where even though Daily Tech Headlines was marked for worldwide distribution, we had to create a new skill in the UK version, and then we had to create a new skill in the Canada version. It's just unfortunate that they make it that difficult. And again, this is the walled garden. We have RSS that is meant to get past all of this. So I, as a creator, could say only go in these countries or go worldwide, and then everybody respects that. But because companies are building up their own systems from scratch because they want to protect stuff, you get these complications. So apologies that it's not working. It's probably the region lock. Although, if you want to share with us your favorite ways to get Google Home or Amazon Echo to subscribe to a skill like Daily Tech Headlines, write in and let us know. Maybe that'll be helpful for Andy.
Also, just if it helps you, Andy, earlier, because I have a Sonos One that uses Alexa to get a lot of my information. Sorry, I said the word. And earlier I was like, okay, well, let me just try Daily Tech Headlines, and it was like, gave me something weird. Daily Tech Headlines podcast worked like a charm.
Huh, well, there you go.
There you go.
Well, thanks to all those who participate in our subreddit. You can submit stories and vote on them at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. One of the reasons that we covered the TWiT stories because it was by far at the top of the subreddit. And you can also go in our groups. I don't think we have watch parties yet, but when we do, who knows what we'll be able to watch together at facebook.com/groups/dailytechnewsshow.
Thank you, as always, to Scott Johnson, who joins us on Wednesdays. Scott, what is going on with you these days?
Oh, there's so many things going on. The other day, I yelled at my Echo and tried to get it to order Batman simply by just yelling Batman at it. It turns out it doesn't work that way. So if you want to watch me do stupid stuff all the time, frogpants.com is the place to find all the podcasts, the shows, the artwork, the whatever it is you're looking for, and track my daily goings on over at twitter.com/Scott Johnson. And one tiny other note, I've been doing these weird art videos where when I say weird, they're like speed drawing art compilations of stuff I've been drawing lately. If you want to watch those, they are all up in their glory on YouTube, as aforementioned YouTube, over at youtube.com/Scott Johnson. I think it's worth checking out if you are into such things, and let me know what you think.
Excellent. Also, big thanks to everybody who supports us on Patreon. We are at the moment, about just over halfway through the month, at 9 people above what we had last month. Now, if you remember, last month we had the whole Patreon
Last month was a weird month.
thing. It was a weird month. So instead of just one more, we'd like 100 more, but let's see how many we can get. If you haven't supported us yet, it's only $1 a month, 5 cents a show. If you want to just show some support for what we do here at Daily Tech News Show, that's at patreon.com/DTNS.
Do you hate nickels? We'll take them.
Get rid of them.
Yeah. I mean, happy to have them. Our email address, if you have questions, comments, feedback, anything, is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. We're live Monday through Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 21:30 UTC at alphageekradio.com and diamondclub.tv. And our website is dailytechnewsshow.com.
Back tomorrow with the triumphant return from Japan of Justin Robert Young. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Great show. What should we call it?
We should call it. Well, hold on a second.
Joyce.
Chat room.
Laura. Meg.
Showbot.
Diane. Adele.
At the top is Twill.
This week in lawsuits. I say no.
Nah.
It's there for you until it isn't. Goodbye YouTube. Hello Twitch. Open the HomePod Bay sales, Hal. Freedom from choice is what you want. This week in trademark.
Always like a Devo illusion.
The Cliff Notes singularity has arrived. I think this was meant to be the rise of the Cylons instead of rise of they Cylons.
Probably.
Overwatching esports. Overwatch to Overwatch. Count on Google the cancel stuff. YouTube
Damn
to
it,
community.
Australia.
Get off my lawn.
Sorry, Dave, I can't comprehend that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's my favorite so far.
I mean, it's not really what the story was about, but I get it. It's funny.
I'm sorry,
Good work.
Dave. I can't
Good work,
comprehend that.
Silverblade.
Ooh,
Silverblade.
esports. What does the Tonight Show Blizzard $90 million have in common?
Long, a little wordy.
But where's the punchline on that, though?
Just like a lot of Tonight Show jokes, there's no punchline.
It's the Karnak. He says he's got two versions of it. One says a la Karnak. Oh, and one says, what does Tonight Show Blizzard and Scott Johnson have in common?
We all like Overwatch, I guess.
So Overwatch. I guess a few people like that, huh?
I like you must be this popular to make money.
Game is very popular.
I'm going to bug one of my esports friends right now and be like, what's Overwatch? He'll go nuts.
Oh, yeah. It's always fun to do that.
Mm-hmm. I heard about Overwatch today.
No, spell it wrong.
I'll be like, Overwitch?
What's Uberwatch?
Johnny Carson's is like an investor or something?
Johnny Carson's an investor.
Is that like a game show based on Uber?
No, it's Uberwatch it's a new app to see where your car's coming because the real app doesn't do a very good job of it. So.
Right, it uses Greyball to actually find out where your car is.
Old Uberwatch.
Watch party, watch Overwatch.
Sorry, Dave, I can't comprehend that.
Hey, what specific story was that from? I'm trying to. Yeah.
What from?
No. What story they were alluding to with the 2001?
Oh, sorry, Dave. I can't. That's the email. The guy who couldn't get his Google Home.
Oh, yeah. Got it. Oh, my nose.
Well, that, but it works pretty good for the comprehension story.
Oh, right, it does. I didn't even think about that.
Kind of works for both, I think.
The comprehension
Sorry,
story.
Dave, I can't comprehend that. Yep.
Martin Luther, Phil and John.
It was my first book report I had to, or not book report. Was it Martin Luther was the first guy I had to write a report on.
I probably have my Martin Luther paper on the Reformation in that filing cabinet right there. Because I wrote one in senior English in high school, and I think I wrote another one in college too, as part of a history class. Who didn't? Me and Roger. Everybody did.
Originally, when I picked him, I thought I was doing Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, really?
Like, God, nuts.
Oh, and then after that, you learned the difference. That's good.
Well, this is like fourth grade or something.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever. It's like, wait, he was named after someone? This guy?
People do that? They name people after other... Oh, wait, I was named after Roy Rogers. Now I get it.
Well, I didn't get that until later, so I thought he just picked it out of a fishbowl. The fishbowl naming convention.
Well, aren't we just a sparkling crew today?
Sparkling. We're like clearly Canadian. Remember that beverage?
I think it still exists.
Yeah,
Is
I
it?
get it. Can't you?
Can
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it anywhere. It'd be awesome.
Roger, you'd never leave your
Admittedly,
house.
I either, but I didn't hear that it went away.
I leave at night when there's no one around.
When the stores are closed. No wonder you don't see clearly.
I want to get it. I need to buy it.
Remember Pepsi?
I never see it anymore.
No, I see Pepsi all over the place.
See cans on the street.
I'm gonna go for Pepsi right now. Not supposed to. I'm trying to give up sody pap.
Why are you supposed to give it up?
Just trying to eat better. You know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's not great for you.
No. Seems like it's.
Friend of mine, who I am cat sitting for, has a real LaCroix problem.
Oh,
When I say problem, I'm like, what's the problem? It's water. But I mean, you open the fridge and you're like,
It's a lot of money to pay for water.
and
It
just
is,
so
but
many
it's so
flavors.
good. It's so good.
It's
so
but
good.
it's water. It's
But why? Why is it so good? I've tried
don't know.
it, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
I will say the coconut flavor, which is
It's nasty. I don't like that.
No, it's the best. It's the best one by far, but it's very polarizing.
I like the passion fruit one and with the pomegranate one.
But, again,
No, actually, the coconut's not the worst. They have a cola one that's nasty.
You know what I like to drink? Scotch.
Mm.
No, I was thinking like, what do I drink? Because we don't.
What about coconut scotch?
We don't. It's very polarizing. Some people love it. No, I was thinking like, what do we don't drink soda. We don't don't have any soda in our house. Much to my friends' chagrin when they come to visit. And they're like, do you have any soda? I'm like, what do we drink? We mostly drink water. We drink coffee in the morning. And then, we'll have wine or scotch or something.
Same here. In fact, rarely when people come over, because I don't like people in my house. No, just kidding, sort of.
Because you won't let them in.
But someone, I'll be like, would you like a glass of water? And they'll go like, maybe like some orange juice. And I'm like, yeah, the market's down at the end of the block.
Yeah, sure, go get
it. I kind of forget that people are like, hey,
pick up a scratcher for me while you're down there getting some orange juice.
I drink water and juice.
I don't even drink juice. We have canned green tea in the refrigerator. And we, I think, have a bottle of the knockoff brand of butterbeer.
Oh,
butterbeer.
Well, the people who make butterbeer for the Harry Potter section of the Universal theme park also sell it, but they can't sell it as butterbeer as part of their contract, so they sell it under a butterscotch soda name.
Margarine beer. I can't believe it's not butterbeer.
Oleo beer. I can't believe it's not butterbeer. I think that would get them sued. What do you have in your fridge, Scott?
Juice, like Roger. We're big on water, so we got a lot of water bottles kind of laying around.
Well, it's funny. Here in LA, we have it right in the taps.
We have that too, but I don't know.
It's for the Salt Lake, so it comes out.
Well, actually, no, that's true. If we get a deal like at Costco on a ton of water bottles, we'll get them. But there's also, we have a fridge with a filter and all that, and I get most of my water out of there. And then very occasionally, the kids like this weird Fanta stuff that is kind of good.
Fanta. Wow.
Fanta.
We were talking about Fanta a couple weeks ago. Like,
Yeah.
hey, whatever happened to these brands that no one sees anymore? So,
Yeah.
Well,
I'm trying to
Fanta's still
off the pop just generally, but as many people know, that can be tricky.
Wow, Fanta. Nice.
No, the
Fanta. Remember that song?
yeah, they still they're still around. I see them.
Yeah, they're around. They're still doing stuff.
No, soda is one of those things I grew out of very quickly as soon as I graduated high school.
I wasn't allowed to drink soda as a child, so I just sort of, besides like getting one at someone's house because I knew it was forbidden, and kind of like pretending that I liked it, I never liked it. So to this day, it's like if I was thirsty, I'm like, I don't want a Coke. That's like the last thing I want. I want water.
Huh.
Well,
So that's one thing that my mother did right. Thanks.
I use it as a treat, right? Like if I'm doing something, if I'm out and about and I'm like, you really want to, give myself a treat, I'll get a Coke Zero or something. But I don't drink it every day.
it's weird because
I will have a Gatorade now and then. I do kind of like Gatorade.
I only like Gatorade when I'm sick, which is kind of weird.
It's
makes
a
sense.
comfort drink.
Replenishes your
Like
electrolytes.
if you're feeling a little love a good lemon Gatorade.
I used to drink Gatorade as a hangover prevention measure when I was in my 20s.
Did it work?
It's so well. You know what? I think it worked because it hydrated me. I think I would have got the same effect if I drank that much water, but it was like a big jug. So
Yeah.
I used to get Gatorade gum. Do you remember that when there was?
oh yeah, Gator gum.
Oh.
Yeah,
So good.
Awesome.
The burst of flavor.
Remember when they tried to capitalize on the popularity of chewing tobacco with kids and came out with Big League Chew?
Yeah, that was outlawed in my house. Big League Chew was not allowed.
No, that was.
Oh no,
I
was allowed to
it
have big.
fun because it was shredded gum.
Yeah,
I remember my mom tried half-heartedly to object, and my dad's like, "Oh, come on, it's gum."
yeah. My mom was like, "That's a gateway to real chew." I'm like, "Mom,
Right.
it's gum."
No, mixing it with tobacco is a gateway to going straight tobacco.
Yeah.
I was it's funny because you were saying about the soda. My dad didn't allow me to have soda either, but he would make an exception for 7-Up because he thought it was the purest of the sodas that you could get.
Sure,
like, he
it's
wouldn't
clear.
no caffeine, so no
yeah.
cola, no
Caffeine,
root beer.
The real killer of soda.
No
My
suntan.
parents would give me 7-Up when I was sick.
We got ginger ale if we were sick.
It was the same. That's why I can't drink 7-Up now, because all I think about is,
Being
this thing
sick.
giving me this one,
Yeah.
I'd puke.
Yeah.
Not good.
Oh, Amos says his kids use Gatorade gummies during their soccer games. They can't have bottles while playing, but they can have a gummy.
So Gatorade still does non-liquid stuff.
I guess so.
I'm very interested in these gummies now. I'm going to look this up.
Now, is this a recent thing? Because I was shopping for vitamins the other day.
Oh, the gummies thing?
Yeah, but it's before I knew
recent
they made
for
like
you
children's.
since you only get to the store every 5 years. But yeah, it's relatively.
No,
recent.
I'm just wondering because I knew there were chewable vitamins, but gummy vitamins for
I think
kids.
gummy vitamins been around for 5 years or so.
I was just talking to my mom about this when I was home for the holidays because she has a bunch of it's just like multivitamins that people should have,
Yeah,
and
right.
she was like, I just hate swallowing pills. And for a long time, unless you were a child and you were like eating the Flintstone vitamins, you didn't really have other options. But if you can chew your vitamins, why wouldn't you want the gummy ones?
Interesting. So they've got something called Gatorade Prime Energy Chews.
Ew.
And those are like chewables. They come also in this high end, let's see, Gatorade Endurance Carb Energy Chews. You can get those too. And they're fruit punch flavored and they're $22 and you eat them. So yeah, they've been branching out over there, it looks like.
I remember, Roger, when because we buy chewable vitamins because my wife doesn't like to swallow the big vitamin pills either, just multivitamin. And I remember it started to be hard to find them because they were getting driven out by all the gummies.
Well, the gummies are weird because they're not weird, but the thing is to make it gummy, you need to eat more.
Well, also they don't. If you notice, if you compare, they don't have all the vitamins that a normal vitamin has.
Right.
I'm skeptical on the gummy vitamin thing.
Oh, I'm skeptical of the ones I have right now because they taste like a horse.
Why? Because it tastes too good to be good for you?
No, I don't think they taste that good either. But I think they're skimping on what should be in them. Maybe the absorption.
I think they just
is
have a
different.
lower dosage of
it
like
could
the
be as
fish oil.
simple
I was
as that.
comparing them. If you just get the standard hard to swallow cod liver pills, it has 5 times as much of the stuff that you need. Than in a gummy. You would have to eat 4 of these gummy things, and they just pop back 2 of the fish liver. Cod liver oil.
Cod liver oil. That's awesome. Castor oil.
Ah, delicious.
Kim did pick up some, they call them burpless omega-3 oil pills.
Oh, yeah, I got those. Those are great.
Yeah.
What makes them burpless?
They just, it's not that you won't burp. It's just you won't burp and smell like you just killed a cod and ate it.
Well, yeah, it won't go all the way up your esophagus.
That's funny.
Because that's the problem,
See, the problem is you smell like you just killed a cod. And if you're in a cod-heavy area of town, I'm not going to appreciate that.
I've always wondered, is me buying those vitamins, somehow contributing to the overfishing of the seas, or is that just made from the leftover?
Well, actually, that's a very interesting question because my immediate response was going to be, well, if they farm raise them, that's fairly sustainable. But my doctor has pointed out a few studies that show that farm raised fish don't have the right omega-3s. So I don't know if you can harvest the right amount of omega-3s from farm raised, so maybe you have to go with the wild caught. But you may be able to get it from byproducts that wouldn't be used in the kind of products they sell for consumption.
Because I was thinking about using
scrap and fish bones and stuff,
like the flaxseed stuff, and my doctor said nah, they don't. You need the animal version. Need it. We were meant to
If you're
eat
vegan,
it.
if you're vegan, you can't do it. I don't know what you do if you're vegan. How you get your omega 3s?
You can get them from some plants, but yeah, it's harder.
You just wait till the animal decomposes into
There are vegan omega-3. Like, it doesn't have to come from fish oil.
Well, there
it's
you
a
go.
good source of it, but you can get it other ways.
Yeah, so that solves your fishing thing.
Yeah.
You may be
but
eating
that's what I was
omega-3
saying,
that isn't
like,
even...
The omega-3s you get from flaxseed or other non-animal sources isn't in the same quantity, like per density, that you would. Like, there's a reason why we eat animals,
right.
because if we
You just
didn't-
said flaxseed.
Yeah.
No, I missed that you were talking about flaxseed as an omega-3. But so you just take more of them. What the hell?
Yeah, well, I guess I could spend all day eating flaxseed.
Who doesn't love a whole day spent eating flax?
Talk about a pill that needs a burpless version.
That's my dream day.
Yeah, that one's pretty bad.
It's like, are these suppositories? These things are huge. It's just like,
What the flax? Well, folks, we've mentioned the word suppository, which is our signal that the show should end. So thank you all for joining us.
see you tomorrow.